Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the latest update here to the DCEU. Apparently, there were supposed to be cameos by Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot in the Flash movie, and now there's not going to be.
Right, but we're going to still release the Flash movie, which makes no sense at all.
Yeah, lots of people calling this out, asking why the Flash, with all the controversy around Ezra Miller, is even being released when, DC is looking for write-downs and write-offs. This would be an easy cut. They have $300 million supposedly sunk into this movie. They canceled a standalone Michael Keaton Batman movie.
But based on it, they thought Batman Beyond, which would have been huge.
If done correctly.
Yes,
yes.
It would have been big. And then they canceled that, and now they're getting rid of Henry Cavill, and they're probably going to get rid of Gal Gadot as Superman and Wonder Woman for their new DCU, but they're still tripling down on the Flash. It makes no sense. And Ezra Miller's a train wreck. Everyone's saying this movie shouldn't be released.
Yeah, I just don't understand. If you're scrapping the Snyderverse, which apparently they are, in favor of James Gunn and Peter Safran's version of the DCEU, then why the hell are we keeping Ezra Miller in any capacity? They canceled Batgirl. Black Adam was not the hit they were hoping for. That was supposed to be like kind of a soft reset. Now they're doing a hard reset. Just take the damn write-off. They're canceling all these shows. They're writing all these shows off. Just take the write-off. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster. I don't think it's going to make money. Supposedly, Aquaman 2 is creeping up there in expense too.
Yeah, and then I think that they're already gone. Jason Momoa and them, they're saying they're already probably not coming back. So why is everybody else gone, but Ezra Miller's Flash movie is not? It makes no sense to me. Ezra Miller is a toxic asshat, and they're just going to keep running with this movie. I say don't go see it.
Running with this movie.
I know, right? That wasn't intentional, but I'll take credit. Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Like he runs away with teenage girls.
Yeah.
Badly.
Because they're going to another universe because he's the Messiah.
Where they can't find him.
Susan Sarandon better understand where she belongs.
Yeah, Susan Sarandon needs to learn her place. So, yeah, we're going to talk about this. I'm not 100% convinced they're still going to release this thing yet. I have to wonder if, as we get closer to D-Day, if they're not going to look at it and be like, you know what, Black Adam didn't do well, we're resetting everything anyway, and the public backlash toward Ezra Miller is horrible, but we'll see.
You'd think they would have done that already.
You would think.
We'll talk about that in a minute. But before we get into it any further.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. About 283,000 subs. I haven't checked. I think we're over that now. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It's greatly appreciated. Helps the channel grow. Trying to get to 300. We need to get to 300.
I don't know why we keep stalling out.
Oh, I have theories.
Yeah.
I have theories. But, weirdly enough, we are probably the least spicy.
I know, right? But they keep blaming us for everything.
But somehow we're responsible for everything. We personally hired Ezra Miller for the Flash.
I would have fired his ass a long time ago.
I would have too.
This is what I don't understand. If you're going to cut, okay, it made sense they're going to keep the movie because they were going to bring Michael Keaton's Batman in. They were going to do, had Superman and Gal Gadot back as Wonder Woman, and they were going to move on to bringing him back as Superman totally for Henry Cavill and moving into a new, the soft reboot. That it would make sense. But they're not doing that. So it makes zero sense to keep this movie, especially with the backlash. People have been asking for it to be canned for months now.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. This is supposedly coming from the Hollywood Reporter. This is via IGN. We'll talk about them getting rid of Cavill and Gadot completely, supposedly, and they're still keeping Ezra Miller.
God, I need a drink.
The sunsetting of Cavill's time as Superman was the clearest indication yet that Gunn and Safran are mounting a substantial overhaul of DC, a reboot that will cut significant, if not most, ties to the previous regimes at the DC movies. Cavill also shot a cameo in The Flash, one of 4 DC movies set to release in 2023, but sources say the cameo, along with that of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, is now being cut given that the studio chose not to go forward with Wonder Woman 3. Now, we don't know if she's out completely. She said she'd like to be in, but then so did Henry Cavill.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me.
I think they're just going to reset the whole thing. I think they're going to be like, we're resetting it. The DCEU or whatever we're going to call it. We're going to start with yet another Superman origin movie.
It's not going to go well. I mean, I hope Zaslav, Zaslav, here, I got some things for you. 1, bringing Henry Cavill back was probably your best shot. People were very excited about it. 2, the Ezra Miller movie, The Flash, you keep tripling down on it, and everyone wants that thing canceled because they think it's trash. They think he's trash. They want to I'm sorry, because his friends say that when he's not on camera, he's a he.
He's conveniently trans.
Yeah, they want
when the police are involved or when the media is involved,
which is an insult to actual trans people.
Yes,
and it's just like I'm tired of it. I don't really want to see James Gunn anything at this point.
Yeah, which is a shame. He looks like Colonel Sanders now. What happened to you, James? Which is a shame.
He looks like a hot Colonel Sanders, even though he also looks hot. But I'm saying because he's got the hair up and everything.
Yeah, it's like the game, the dating sim you guys were playing, but. I actually was kind of like, oh, James Gunn is in charge. Okay, maybe they'll bring out kind of a lighter tone of DC or whatever, but I did not expect them to just do a hard reset like this. Now, they're saying that they believe Ezra Miller, one way or another, is out after The Flash.
But then why run it? People don't want it.
Well, supposedly, this movie could potentially, possibly, maybe explain the reset. Like, they're going to reset the universe.
Well, how are they going to do that if they just hired Gunn and they hadn't, decided to get rid of everyone?
They'll just tack on an ending or some shit, probably. I don't know. Ezra, oh
my
God.
That sounds like it's going to be so good.
Ezra Miller's going to destroy the entire DCEU. That's how it ends.
That would be about that would be about right.
Everybody dies. But yeah, so I don't
Hey friend, how dare you assume I'm your friend?
So this is coming from the Jerusalem Post of all places. Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill cut from the Flash movie, but Ezra Miller stays. They're like, why is Miller staying? The Hollywood Reporter reported, that's awkward. The Hollywood Reporter reported the report that both Cavill and Gadot have reportedly been removed from the cameos. They said that DC will be reintroducing fans to different versions of heroes, such as the Supergirl Nobody Wants and Michael Keaton as old Batman. Both Gadot and Cavill were expected to reprise their roles for their own individual movies, but with Wonder Woman 3 and Superman 2 being shelved. U.S. media reports that full script for Wonder Woman was written by, okay, we know that. Here, the controversial movie is hitting theaters in June 2023. It might be too late to pull the plug on this one.
It's 6 months out. They can pull the plug.
Yeah. The Flash will be one of, if not the most controversial film to hit theaters in 2023 after the lead actor Ezra Miller was arrested numerous times over the 2022 year and 2021 and 2020.
And how much money is Zaslav and crew spending to cover his ass?
Cover their ass.
Well, yeah, but suddenly all these charges will go away and everything else.
It's all kind of gone down the memory hole, right? Miller has faced many different legal allegations and charges and has been making headlines throughout 2022. And not for The Flash, Miller was reported to have worn a bulletproof vest and was armed with a gun, saying they were being followed by the FBI or the KKK. They allegedly threatened a woman and her 12-year-old son in Massachusetts.
They said the child was non-binary.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. They made that mistake. Why did you make that mistake? Miller claimed the child was a mystical being and wanted to start a line of clothing with them and buy them horses.
Yes.
When you spell it out like that, you distill it down to the most basic, one sentence. Miller claimed this child was a mystical being, wants to start a line of clothing with them and buy them horses.
Right. But we're going to still put this movie out. We're going to cancel, Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot stuff, but we're going to keep putting out this shit.
Miller was arrested twice in Hawaii. They reportedly had a violent clash with people at a karaoke bar where they were charged with harassment and disorderly conduct. There's going to be a drinking game based on Ezra Miller. A few weeks later, they were arrested and charged with second-degree assault for another violent incident by throwing a chair and striking a woman in the head. In October, Miller pleaded not guilty to burglary charges in Vermont. They were charged with burglary. They burgled into an occupied home and petty larceny and faced up to 26 years in prison if convicted.
Yeah, what happened to that?
After all, Warner Brothers made it go away. That's where the budget for Wonder Woman 3 went. They had to...
I kind of low-key wanted Miller to break into my house. Think of how much you can cash out with that. Miller broke into my house. How much did you give me, Zaslav?
Yeah, right. After all this, Miller will be still walking the carpet at the premiere of The Flash in June.
No one understands this. And it's funny because even people who don't like us or don't like, both sides, let's go this way because we're in the middle and everybody hates us. But
everybody hates us.
Everybody, pretty much, I'd say 98% of people are like, this movie needs to be canceled. Ezra Miller needs to be canceled. And we're not usually ones to say cancellation is a good thing, but in this case, Ezra Miller needs to be somewhere in therapy for a long time. I could say straitjacket, but that would be really not fair.
Prison cell.
Somewhere. I mean, dude, I'm sorry. Them needs help.
Everybody can be a dude. Everybody's a dude.
I usually call people dude, so.
So what they canceled instead? a standalone Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Which would have done well. I mean, like you said, depending on how it was done. But people would have gone to see that.
Just for the curiosity of it, they would have gone to see it. And I guarantee you what they're going to do is they're going to lead with Michael Keaton Batman to get people to go to this movie. Because nobody gives a shit about The Flash. He was the weakest character in Justice League.
But they will not let this movie die.
No. Which is so weird because, again, they're taking all kinds of write-offs, write-downs. I did a video the other day talking about Westworld, which was one of HBO's biggest shows. They kicked it off of HBO Max, and they're basically dumping it into syndication just to recoup costs. Like, they're not even keeping some of their top shelf shows, the archives on HBO Max, just to save money. Canceled Batgirl, which supposedly was a disaster anyway. But I'm like, do you really think this movie is that good that it's worth the PR black eye, or couldn't you just take a $300 million write-off and just be like, you know what? We're just starting today. We're done with everything DCEU. We're done with the Snyderverse. Clean cut. Aquaman 2 is canceled. Flash is canceled. Nobody went to go see Black Adam. Not in the numbers we expected them to. It's diminishing returns. Take the write-off. Bury this movie. Get Ezra Miller out of here. We have an out. We can be like, yeah, we don't want anything to do with the Ezra. We're recasting Barry Allen someday. Once we work past, Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman, we'll eventually get to the Flash in 10 or 15 years, and just start over. But I don't understand like how they decide which projects to cancel, if they're just like, rolling the dice or flipping a coin or what. But
that one was because it was a train wreck, Batgirl. But it doesn't make sense to cancel that and then not cancel Flash.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
It was testing well. Well, it was testing well, and then Ezra Miller, took a shit over everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just cut your losses.
Just cut your losses, So anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Talk later.
Bye.